Welcome to my virtual assistant blog formatting training. I would like to introduce you to a few tools that I use for formatting and displaying my blog. The first is my website builder, Weebly. As you can see, it's got a nice little widget collection over here, and we'll be using some of these in this video. And then over here are the main settings, the different pages and parts of the website, which we don't need to worry about. And this, of course, is the blog itself. Now, another tool that I really like to use is Evernote. In Evernote, as you can see, I have a variety of notes, including blog posts and lists that I need to take care of and keep in mind. It's a free application. It does have paid versions, but the free version is very sufficient, and as you can see, I have a number of notebooks and a number of notes per notebook, and everything works fine. Now, for this video, we'll be looking at a couple of documents. One is my 4 blog posts note. I also have past blog posts, related reading list, and the blog promotion list. Now, as far as the formatting goes, each time I put up a post, I have it formatted a specific way. This way allows me for maximum sharing and information dispensal for each post. Now, for sake of example, we're going to go ahead and format a post that should go live next week on the 25th. When entering blog posts that have not been written but still need to be formatted, I suggest that you use all caps. This will clue into me and yourself that the post is not yet written but is ready to be entered. So we won't worry about the date because the date will be taken care of when it goes to be published, not before. So the first thing that I like to do is put an image up. Putting an image up allows for social media sharing to have a little more precedence than if you just put text. Afterwards, I like to have a little teaser text. I usually keep this between 1 to 2 lines or a very small paragraph. There's the read more break, which means anything after this particular line, you have to press the read more link on the blog post to see. For me, this keeps my blog posts individually short on the main page and allows you to see more per page. After that, I like to go and put a divider. I like to have a clear distinction between the end of the post and any information that I include after it. In this case, I'll be using the text version to promote related articles. Now, I will note, if you use a different website builder, many of them have widgets that will do this. Currently, Weebly does not, so my personal workaround is to do a little extra work, but it has the same effect. I like to embolden things because it draws more attention to them. And I always add at least 3 increases of the font size to make sure that the font is clear. Now, I personally like the number 3, so I always suggest 3 blog posts. The column feature allows me to do that without having to have a vertical line, which again will make the post even longer and is a lot of scrolling. Now, me personally, I use the image option for each. Another option to use if you're doing this on a personal note is to use the gallery function. You can also choose the amount of pictures per row, and each can have a caption. However, the captions are different between the images and the gallery. For the images, you will notice that the captions are in small print below the picture, and then the picture itself can be hyperlinked to another post, which is my personal preference. You can also do something similar using the gallery function. However, the caption has different options as to whether you see it and how you see it. Now, after I've decided my posts, which will be picked after the post has been written so that it keeps relevance, then I can move on to the remaining elements. The remaining elements are a blog button, which you will see here. And all of these links and code will be provided to you when we work together. I also prefer to center most of my elements when possible, so the original code has been edited slightly to allow for that. Now I'll use one more column, and this is something I personally like to do because you never know when someone's going to find your website or how they're going to find your website, and therefore it is always a good idea to make a mention of this information, because you may just get yourself a new follower or fan by putting this information out there, which is why at the end of each blog I have this information. My follow button, a mention about my newsletter, and all of my social media. Now I go back to my document and I take this large amount of text, and this includes my sign-up form for my website as well as my social media buttons. Now, in another post, which you can see on my blog, I explain how to make these buttons and how to link them to your site. It's very user-friendly, and again, I always use free tools when possible. You notice I've got opt-in text that is relevant to if you're reading my blog, you probably want to learn more about me and what I do. So the opt-in text matches that. The subscription form that I use is via MailChimp, which again has free options for small business owners. And finally, I personally prefer to copy this link because it's a little easier to upload than having to actually upload, as well as in the event that you are not using your computer or you were in public and you may not have pictures like this, you can still get the picture. And I can tell you that I uploaded a picture to my website, published it, went to my website and copied the link location, and that is how I got the image link that I use. Now, as you can see, the blog format is very simple, but when you've got to put together several, it can get a little tedious. Now, because the post is not written, we want to make sure that we do not publish it, because of course you will be publishing a blank post. Saving it to drafts keeps all of your formatting as it is, and then if you go and look in the drafts, it'll be the most recent one. Now, another thing I would like to mention that is also helpful is my blogging system. I put together my system after working with Jenny Shee, who is a professional business coach, and I did a lot of tweaking to get it to where I am. Like, just as a quick rundown, I have 6 scheduled posts each month that I like to put up. And I also have a weekly check-in post that I've just added. There's also spontaneous content for those wild hairs that we all get when we start blogging. Work in progress, pictures if I have a product or a line release, any kind of personal or store announcements such as sales like Black Friday, which is coming around in the next week. And then I also keep a list of ideas in my Evernote. Personally, when I do my blog writing, I like to do it all on the same day. That allows me to get all of it done, have a focused time to do it, and then I don't have to stress about it over the next week. A posting schedule is a little tricky. I decided every 5 days was a good posting schedule for me. You may want to stick to once a week, you may want to do twice a week, you may want to do a specific day, you could do a specific day of the month. It really depends on your blogging, your style, your voice, and your audience. What works for you is what you need to do. And then I also have a system for sharing my posts. One of the number one problems that a lot of bloggers have about getting their information out there is they don't share their work enough. They focus more on volume of content, posting every week, posting several times a week, posting several times a month, instead of putting out there what they have said. So you notice I have some things set up automatically, like the RSS using Hootsuite, another free option tool. I also use some of their other options with their auto schedule. I will link it to Tumblr, I will pin it. I also put it up again, and then another time I mentioned it in my newsletter, as well as using the automatic post that Weebly itself has. And most major websites that have blog options do have some sort of automatic post that they will give you the option to use. Now finally, we've already touched on this, but I have a picture at the beginning of each post, and I link all of the pictures to the source if possible. Now, one thing I did not mention is the first picture that I use, I like to go to a Creative Commons for. Creative Commons allows me the right to use a free picture, and personally, I choose the attribution right most often because I have no need to edit or alter or crop a photo. I will search a term that either will evoke imagery that I find relevant, or in the event of a book review, I will usually go onto a bookseller's website and source back to the book so that people can look at the book and buy it right then. I try to caption all pictures because when you caption a picture, you're adding to the SEO and it makes it searchable, and it's just a simple and easy thing to do to help your website out. I also like to put a call to action for a comment at the end of each of my posts, and then of course you saw the newsletter and social media buttons at the bottom, and then of course the related reading as well. Now personally, I like to put the related reading before the call to action at the end to join the newsletter and check out my social media and all of that, because the whole purpose of you coming to my blog is to read it. So I would like you to read more. Therefore, I would like it to be easy for you to read more. Now, the last thing I want to touch on is some of the other information I personally like to use. Touched on my for blog posts, and I keep this here because it makes it easier so that I can format my blog posts each time with little to no fuss. I also keep a running list of all of my blog posts. Now, I'm still personally in the process of going over my blog posts, so all of my blogs are not up here, but as you can see, I have them dated, and I have them dated from earliest to latest. And my purpose is to just keep a running list so I have an idea of where I am. Now, I also have this lovely little list right here. This is my related reading list. You notice it doesn't really have any dates, but the whole purpose of this note is so that I can kind of keep track of what I have linked to what. Not for any particular purpose, but a personal preference. And it also means that for this one, I don't have the blog written, and I know I don't have any posts in mind. So It allows me to keep track of what I have done, what I haven't, and what is linked to what. So I can use this information when I look at my analytics. If I notice that this particular blog is getting a lot of traffic, but these aren't, then it might mean that they're not related enough. So it allows me to kind of reevaluate what I'm doing and how I'm doing it so I can do everything I do better. And finally, the last note I would like to share with you is possibly the most important one. Now, this is one of my little trade secrets, but it's not that much of a secret when you think about it. I put my blog posts in the order that they're written, from earliest to the latest, and you will notice that I use a shortened link. The shortened links mean that you can put more text in your status update, and this is especially helpful for social media sites like Twitter. And then I also use hashtags when possible, and I try to think of an interesting text to put with it. So definitely during October, we're going on with the season of fall, so this is relevant. Samhain happens at the end of October, so again, relevant. And then we have a little Halloween reference because of candy. I like to talk about my plans in my posts, so I have a reference to that. And of course, I'm telling you what's going on, another reference. Now, if you look from line to line to line, each of these posts have the same link. The whole entire purpose of this is, instead of telling you the same exact link every single time and you getting bored with it, I've given you something interesting to read. Now, as a little marketing tip, next time you go to watch TV, notice how many commercials you see. Many commercials are all the same, have the same basic concept, to sell or promote one single idea, one single product. But even among commercials, they do not use the same exact commercial and never deviate from it. So, a little marketing 101 for you. Now, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me. I am always available by email, and I'm happy to clarify any issues that you have. So thank you for watching this video, and I can't wait to work with you. Have a great day.